Most people think strong habits are built by motivation. They're wrong. Motivation is emotional. Habits are neurological. That's why people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because their brain was trained in the wrong direction for too long. Weak habits don't disappear when you try harder. They disappear when the environment inside your mind changes. Because habits are not choices you make each day. They are systems your nervous system runs automatically. And once you understand this, change stops feeling violent. It becomes quiet. It becomes precise. It becomes permanent. Strong habits are not built by force. They are built by reducing internal friction. When a weak habit exists, your brain has learned one thing. This action gives relief with minimal effort. Relief, not pleasure, is the real addiction. Scrolling doesn't feel good. Overeating doesn't feel powerful. Avoidance doesn't feel proud. They feel relieving. They reduce tension quickly, so the brain marks them as safe. To build strong habits, you must reverse that association. Not by punishment, not by discipline rage, but by teaching the brain. Effort now equals safety later. That's the shift. Strong habits begin when you stop trying to be better and start trying to be consistent at a smaller scale. The brain does not trust dramatic change. It interprets sudden intensity as danger. That's why people collapse after strong starts. Real strength grows under the threshold of resistance, small enough that your nervous system doesn't fight back. 10 minutes, one action, one completion. Completion is more powerful than intensity, because every finished action sends a signal. I keep my word, and self-trust is the foundation of authority. Here's the truth most people never hear. You don't rise to your goals. You sink to your habits. Strong habits quietly raise your baseline. You don't feel motivated. You feel stable. And stability is what creates calm confidence. When habits are strong, your mind stops negotiating with itself. There is no debate, no inner noise, no emotional bargaining. You act, not because you feel like it, but because that's who you are becoming. Strong habits are identity builders. Every repeated action is a vote for the person you are shaping, not in public, not online, but privately where character is formed. That's why replacing weak habits changes something deeper than productivity. It changes posture, voice, presence. People feel it before you say a word, because your nervous system is no longer scattered. It's ordered. You don't replace weak habits by removing them. You replace them by crowding them out. A weak habit dies when there's no empty space for it. When your day has rhythm, when your body has structure, when your mind has direction. Chaos feeds weakness. Order starves it. And order doesn't need perfection. It only needs repetition. This is how strong habits quietly form power. Do you wake up without resistance? Do you move without overthinking? Do you finish without drama? Life becomes quieter, not easier but clearer, and clarity is strength. Candle, closing, calm, deep, ceiling. Strong habits don't make you extreme. They make you steady. They don't turn you aggressive. They turn you grounded. And over time, that steadiness becomes something rare. Inner authority. Not forced, not loud, not demanding, just present. Because when weak habits leave, your mind stops leaking energy. And when the mind stops leaking, power returns on its own. Strong habits don't grow when life is perfect. They grow when life is ordinary. Most people wait for a clean moment, a fresh Monday, a new month, a sudden burst of energy. But the brain doesn't rewire during special moments. It rewires during boring repetition. That's why powerful people don't rely on excitement. They rely on rhythm. Rhythm tells the nervous system, nothing dangerous is happening. We can continue. And continuation is what builds dominance over the self. Weak habits survive because they are emotionally dramatic. They promise escape. They promise stimulation. They promise relief. Strong habits feel quiet, almost invisible. That's why people underestimate them. But what feels small to the ego feels massive to the brain. Because repetition strengthens neural pathways, not emotion. Every calm repetition thickens the pathway, until acting correctly becomes easier than acting weak. That's when effort disappears. At a certain point, something changes internally. You stop asking, "Should I do this?" and start experiencing, "This is just what happens now." That's identity formation, not affirmation, not visualization. Behavior first, identity later. The mind believes actions, not thoughts. Say something enough times, the mind doubts it. Do something enough times, the mind accepts it. This is why discipline reshapes self-image. Not because it's hard, but because it's honest. Strong habits also protect you emotionally. When your life has structure, emotions lose control. You still feel anger. You still feel sadness. But they don't steer you. They pass through, not command. That's emotional sovereignty. You stop reacting from mood and start moving from principle. And people feel this difference immediately because your presence stops fluctuating. You are not up one day, collapse the next. You are consistent. Consistency creates respect without words. Eventually, your mind becomes quieter. Not empty, aligned. Thoughts slow down. Urgency fades. Internal pressure dissolves. You're no longer chasing control. You're operating from it. This is when discipline stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like home, a place your nervous system trusts. And here's the deepest truth. Strong habits don't restrict freedom. They create it, because when your mind is ordered, you are no longer pulled by impulses. You choose, and choice, real choice, is power. As strong habits stabilize, something very important happens inside the mind. The noise that once felt permanent starts losing authority, not because thoughts disappear, but because you stop obeying every one of them. Most people believe their thoughts are commands. They are not. They are signals, many of them outdated. Weak habits train the brain to react instantly. Strong habits retrain the brain to pause. And that pause becomes your greatest power. Because in that pause, choice is born. When you pause, you interrupt automatic identity. You stop being the person who reacts and become the person who responds. This changes how the world treats you. People may not know why, but they sense stability. They sense boundaries. They sense that you are not easily shaken, and humans instinctively respect what cannot be easily moved. Another quiet shift begins. You stop needing motivation. Motivation is emotional fuel. Discipline is structural energy. Emotion burns fast. Structure burns slow. That's why people who rely on motivation rise quickly and fall just as fast. But people who rely on structure move slowly and never fully collapse. They bend. They adapt. They continue. Continuation is the true form of strength. Strong habits also restore dignity, not external dignity, internal. You begin to trust yourself again, and self-trust is rare. Most people live in silent disappointment with themselves. They promise and break it, decide and abandon it. Over time, the mind learns, do not believe this person. That person is you. Strong habits reverse this betrayal, one kept promise at a time, and slowly the mind begins to listen again. This is why confidence returns without affirmations, because confidence is not belief. Confidence is evidence. When your nervous system sees repeated proof that you do what you say, it relaxes, anxiety drops, self-doubt weakens. You no longer need to convince yourself, and knowing creates calm. At this stage, life feels different, not easier, clearer. You feel grounded even during chaos. You don't rush toward comfort. You don't run from discomfort. You stay. Staying is mastery. Most people escape. You remain present. Presence is dominance without aggression. And now something beautiful happens. You stop trying to become someone. You simply remove what was weakening you. Strength was never missing. It was buried under noise, impulses, and inconsistency. Strong habits don't add power. They uncover it. If you want real strength, stop chasing intensity. Strength is not found in extreme discipline, or dramatic transformation, or sudden motivation. It is built quietly, through what you repeat when no one is watching. Easy habits weaken you, because they train the mind to escape. Strong habits rebuild you, because they teach the mind to stay. Stay with discomfort. Stay with effort. Stay with your word. Not perfectly, but consistently. Because every time you do what you said you would do, your mind learns one truth. I can trust myself again. And once self-trust returns, you no longer feel weak. Even when life is hard, you no longer feel lost. Even when direction isn't clear, you stand stable, not because the world became gentle, but because your inner structure did. That is real authority, not loud, not forced, not visible to everyone, but unshakable. And from that place, life stops controlling you. You begin to control yourself. And that is where quiet power begins. You did this with patience, with depth, and with discipline. And that itself proves the truth we just explored. Not with words, but with action. Take a breath now. Let the words settle. Let the mind become quiet. Because what you've begun here is not a moment. It's a direction.